no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star.
Didn't even get to cross.
I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back yet again to the TGN Pro Series. We're here for round number 3 at the Silverstone National circuit. And if you don't know what that is, it is the slightly shorter circuit here around Silverstone. Silverstone, a very recognizable track around the F1 calendar. So if you're an F1 fan, you'll definitely know where we are here today. Lots of the British fans also, for a couple of the British F1 drivers, would absolutely love to see it out here. And we get to drive the BTCC cars out at Silverstone, their hometown. They get to come for their British Touring Car Challenge, which is really, really cool to see. But welcome in. My name is Tristan Herbst, and today we've got round number 3, like I've already mentioned. And again, partnered and sponsored by Master Drive, with that amazing prize coming at the end for all of you, for the drivers, as well as a couple of things provided by TGN for our drivers. So qualifying has officially started for round number 3, and remember that we've got our triple heat heading into round number 3 here. We've got our heat number 1 race, which is obviously determined by the qualifying results of round of qualifying. We then head into heat number 2, and heat number 2 is going to be your reverse grid, and then heat number 3, your chaos race, where it is completely random on the grid, and it really does prove to be quite interesting. We've made a couple of adjustments here or there on a couple of stream and broadcast things, so we are officially back on TikTok as one of our streaming platforms. So you can find us live at TGN Racing Simulators, either on TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook. And so if you've got any family members not doing anything currently, tell them to hop on one of the 3 platforms, and we'll get to some amazing racing here tonight at Silverstone National. We do have our championship standings heading into round number 3. It is currently Christopher Long who sits up on top in the standings with 96 points. Great work from Christopher Long to get himself up there. He had a really good running at Donington Park last week. Michael de Kock has also gotten himself up into second with 89 points next to his name. Gio Sakia, the local hero here in Johannesburg, 74 points to his name in 3rd place. Rolf Schuster and Jared Leask are currently tied, 64 points to each of their names. And so that can be a bit of an interesting fight between the two of them for 4th place. Aratile Motsogotsele down to 6th position in the championship standing, 61 points to his name, with Carl Williams sitting just alongside with 59 points in 7th. Kitso Magia down in 8th with 57 points, and Daniel Kent, unfortunately, quite a big drop-off from 8th to 9th. Daniel Kent sitting with 38 points to his name, and Session Governor with 34 points to his name. So that is your championship standings as it currently leads, going into the 3rd round of our 8-round header here for the TGN Pro Series. Remember that the AM Series runs adjacent to this, so every second Thursday it is the Pro Series, and then the following Thursday is the AM Series. And AM Series is just a nice doorway to allow for all of our AM drivers to get a little bit used to how the racing action works. We've also got a bit of a change of things that will be happening coming out of this round. And so keep your eyes peeled for the YouTube and social medias for the official round number 3 race analysis, which is a new thing we'll be introducing for this round going forwards, where I myself, with a bit of stewarding experience as well, we'll be going through a couple of the major incidents that we see in every week's racing, and then, just try and give a bit of education towards our drivers as to what incidents, what caused certain incidents and who was at the wrong, and how to prevent it in further cases. The drivers have also gone through their mandatory drivers briefing beforehand, and that's just to ensure that everybody is 100% on board with how everything works, and that they are not too aggressive at certain points of the track. Kitso Magia, though, currently our driver with the fastest stride here at the Silverstone National circuit, and just behind him is Carl Williams, 57.3, so 1/10 separating the top 2. Currently Daniel Kent just behind them with 57.3 as well, so very, very close currently for the top 3. And with that 5-minute qualifying still progressing forwards, there's a lot of time to play for our drivers here in terms of grid positioning. Now, we've got quite an interesting race going on for us here today. Just this past Wednesday, I was actually here for the Wednesday night racing, and I've mentioned it a couple of times that if you're wanting to get into the racing action and you don't have a rig, and you've got a little bit of cash to spare, come on down to one of the TGN centers, either in Cape Town, Johannesburg, or Durban, and get yourself in at Wednesday night racing. 3 sessions, and a lot of fun to be had. So I came on this previous Wednesday, and I had a little bit of fun. Not this Wednesday, apologies, the previous week's Wednesday. And I had a little bit of fun at this track with the BMWs. And cannot lie to you, not my favorite track out there. Very, very flowy. Very difficult to keep consistent because the flowy corners, especially the corners that you have to do a lot of coasting and a lot of car rotation, especially in the front-wheel drive BTCCs that we see here today. It does get a little bit difficult to keep that car nice and consistent, other than a rear-wheel drive car that has it slightly different around a track like this. So, bit of a more complex one for the drivers here. Obviously, they come from Donington Park in the previous round, and Donington also no easy feat like we know it. So, a little bit of a shift. We're still in the United Kingdom, just slightly a bit of a move from Donington Park over to Silverstone. And obviously, Silverstone, one of the more public and one of the more famous circuits here in the United Kingdom, but still a great circuit nonetheless. And like I've mentioned already, it is great for the Formula 1 action as well, and proves to be quite an entertaining one nonetheless. So we get to see the BTCs out here. Obviously, Kito Magia still up in front with 3 minutes left to go. And a couple of our other drivers still trying to set. Omar Khan has not come out yet. We so far have a total grid size of about 18 drivers here tonight, which is great to see. So almost a full F1 grid style. I see Jared Lee's going to see Ryan Grigoratos is currently in the pit lane. You can see it in your bottom left camera just above the Master Drive logo. That the TGN staff are just assisting him there by his rig. So not too sure what's happening down there with Ryan. Let's hope that he can get out of the pit lane soon and get himself some laps going. That would be absolutely lovely to see for his behalf. As you still see more and more events scrolling through here. Currently, no one able to top Kitsumajia's time, though, which is quite an impressive feat there in the Vauxhall. The Vauxhall has not been one of the most competitive BTCCs so far this season, but seems like Kitsumagia is really finding stride. Second is the Cupra Leon of Kyle Williams, and so he's just trying to keep it going. Daniel Kent, I believe he might also be, he's in the Toyota Corolla XR, and so he's trying to push onto the backside of Kyle Williams now. Just up in front of him, though, is Vanna Jubert, apologies. And Giuseppe also in that Cupra Leon, trying to make his way around and keep himself nice and consistent in fourth position. It would be lovely to see Giuseppe up there. Remember, currently third position in the championship standing, so he's got a lot to play for here in terms of where he lies for that grid positioning. Session Governor down at 6 as well. Jared Leesk down 7th currently in this qualifying. And Michael de Kock down in 8th position. Aratile Matsukotsele and Derek Trescott down in 10th currently. JP Goslet also down 11th. Van Skuman, Vanna Jobert, apologies, no, I don't know where Skuman is coming from. Vanna Jobert, 12th position. Ralph Schuster, who currently is tied for 4th position, like we already mentioned, with Jared Leesk. And so Jared Leesk has currently got a much better lap time, up in 7th. And unfortunately, Ralph Schuster just not able to get up there at Jared Leesk. So about a 2/10 of a gap, but over 5 positions of a difference. That just shows you the average speed that we're seeing here for our Pro Series between all of our drivers. And currently Sean Norse and Omar Khan sit towards the backside of that grid. Sean Norse, unfortunately, the only driver on the 59-second subcategory. The rest have gone down to 58 seconds and 57 seconds. So Ryan Grigoratos, Dean Jacobs, and Tevin Paul all on that 58-second timer. And then Vilji Truscott all the way up to Kitso Magia are in those 57s. And Kitso very close to breaking into the 56 and potentially getting some of the fastest lap times around here in the BTCC cars. But it is great to have you all over, as we do obviously have a lot of people in our TikTok who are currently watching. Great to see you all there. The optimal viewing experience is definitely going to be... Oh, I see this is currently blocking. Let's move that. So the optimal viewing experience is definitely going to be on our YouTube and our Facebook, just due to some of the more custom overlays that we have. But you are still 100% welcome to watch on our TikTok platform. That's why we've got it up there. It's not going to be the most advanced view for you, but you still get to watch the racing action nonetheless. So great to have you in on TikTok. Great to have you in on Facebook. And then obviously YouTube. I've also got you guys, your virtual grandstand in right in front of me. I see Time Bandit has given his praises there in the virtual grandstand. Lovely to see you here this week. And hope to see a couple more people jumping in the virtual grandstands all across our platforms. But that is officially it for our qualifying session here at Silverstone National. Daniel Kent in third, with Kitsumagia up in second, first, and Carl Williams currently sitting in second position. So overtime now, it is that time for the drivers to just get over the line one last time before they are banished to the pit lane, just before they come across, and that'll officially be the end of their qualifying laps. So qualifying will end shortly, as we see a few of our drivers now still trying to get those final few scrapes of a lap time in. Derek Truscott down in 11th position. He is trying to breach into that top 10, but it's a difficult one. And unfortunately, there we have the pushover to our... Oh, wrong one. We will find the correct one. There it is there. Always have to get used to it again. But that is officially it for our qualifying. We'll head to the race start in approximately 5 minutes or so. So we'll have a bit of a break. And the drivers will be up on your view so you can see how it's going between all of them as they converse out on track in their rigs. And so, yeah, 5 minutes time and we will get started.
Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon.
And we are officially back and ready to go almost with the racing action. I see a lot of people joining in on our TikTok live stream. It is great to see you here for the starting of the of round number 3. As you see all of our cars lined up. We've got quite a nice camera angle here. and I think we'll stick with this one for race start. We can see all of our cars heading down into Copse Corner, and quite an interesting corner as well. It's a corner that has had a couple of incidents, if those who remember from Formula 1 and a couple of other events. So I'm really hoping, especially with the drivers briefing, that the drivers are not going to be making those kind of critical errors yet today of tackling Copse Corner a little bit too tight. But regardless, it is officially time. The gantry lights are officially up at the top side of your screen. It is about to be lights out, and away we go. The BTCC cars pull off with Kitso Magia and Kyle Williams at the starting line. Kyle will have the inside line as he's already under massive threat heading into the first corner. Go most of the drivers, and we'll try and get a nice camera angle here as they all head through Copse Corner. And it seems like we've had quite a good race start for most of our drivers here. We see a couple also still fighting, and through our helicam we go. There's contact through the tire barriers, and Kitso Magia completely overshoots, and a couple of other drivers in the background as well, unfortunately dropping off majorly, as it looks like 18th position down. That's JP Goslet. He's had a bit of an incident in that running order, and at the back of the pack he will go. Unfortunately, the rest of our cars heading down into the left-hand corner, and now trying to keep nice and consistent. It's almost 3 wide here through the next left-hander. Now heading back towards Copse Corner. Maybe it is Silverstone National, so it's nice and short for our 20-minute races. But currently Session Governor going side by side with Ralph Schuster, and great racing from the two of them to keep it nice and consistent. But Daniel Kent has been able to claim the race lead so far, with Kitso Magia dropping down to 4th position, Michael de Kock and Kyle Williams in 2nd and 3rd position. As off goes again. That's someone who's gone off. I believe that might be Aratile. Indeed it was. So he went completely off at Copse Corner and overshot that BTCC car, but looks like he's been able to keep it nice and consistent. Nice little camera angle we've got here of all the cars bending through Maggots and Beckett's, hoping that they can keep it nice and consistent through the next couple of corner arrays here. That's what we love to see with good, clean racing. But down again the back straight of Silverstone National. You can see a couple of flashes coming, and that's a dive on the inside line for the white vehicle. And I don't know who that is. I believe it's Gio, and there's massive contact, I believe, with Jared Leesk and Kitso Magia involved in that one. Jared Leesk in the blue car getting a little bit of bumper-to-bumper action there with Gio, who now moves up slightly. And so Kyle Williams holding off with Daniel Kent up in front. And so that's Gio just down in 4th position. And Kyle Williams, Daniel Kent, apologies, getting the fastest lap so far of the race. And the lap times are quite short here, about 58 seconds or so. And so we're looking at about a 20 to 21 lap race, depending on the distances the drivers get out here. Heading into the next couple of corners is a dive through Maggots and Beckett from the driver behind. It's Rolf Schuster getting dived on by Kitso Magia, and it looks like he's made it stick. Kitso Magia diving now, and up on the camera here of Jared Leesk. I'm trying to find Kitso, and it seems like Kitso has made a bit of an error. There he is, a bit further behind now with the likes of Christopher Long. And heading into the left-hander now, the drivers do have to watch out not to make contact. There we see JP Goslet a bit further behind, still just trying to keep up with the bandwagon here of the rest of the cars. Lots of lockups coming in our front-engine drive cars here of the BTCCs. That front-wheel drive is just proving a little bit difficult, as we see a little bit of swaying action there from one of our yellow BTCC cars. I think that might have been, no, not Derek Truscott, might have been one of the guys up in front. I'm not 100% sure. Daniel Kent, possibly it could have been, as you see all of them still winding around the corners. Sean Norris a bit further behind as well, still just trying to keep his cool down in 16th positions. He is slightly up. Again, it shows 7 positions up, but it's definitely not. It's only about 4 positions, as we do have Liam Choi, Ethan McDougall, Omar Khan, and Denisio Bad, who are not a part of this race, but it does show their names in the list. So it's only about 4 positions. Currently, Gio Sakio, though, up in 4th position, 7 places up from his 11th start. And he's doing a great stride to get himself up towards where he needs to be, sitting 3rd in that championship. He needs to try and double it up with the rest of it. Time Bandit saying decently clean racing so far. You don't want to jinx it, Time Bandit. You will be attacked in the virtual grandstand. No, just kidding. It is definitely looking like some clean racing. And our drivers are taking a slightly better approach to how they tackle each situation. We're seeing a lot less aggressive dives that are not going to work out, as we now see Aratile on the inside line of what looks to be Christopher Long through Copse Corner. He goes slightly wide. He's got to watch out from behind, because here comes Kitso Magia, the man who is flying here today, who's had a much worse of a start than Aratile, from 1st all the way down to 9th position. And he's going to catch him, it looks like, in the corners of Maggots and Beckett's, but he shoots wide again. And now Derek Truscott gets an easy inning there on Kitsumaji and moves up on him as well. So this is why you have to watch out for this track. There are a couple of corners where you really can overshoot them or make a slight bit of an error, and it really does throw you off. So you've got to watch out for it. Gio Sakia still holding on with Jared Lee's gone full flashes behind him, and that might be slightly distracting in the backside of the driver, which now they're both side by side, door to door, coming out of the exit to Cops, and lots of good racing going on here. But Jared Lees claims the inside line with the Toyota Corolla XR and claims it from Gio Sakia's Cupra Leon. And it looks like they're going to dice each other down to Maggots and Beckett's. This can be a little bit dicey if they don't get this right, but it looks like they've been able to with Christopher Long and Ralph Schuster joining in on this battle behind. They've got to watch out as well. If we try and go to that rear view of the BTCC cars, you can just see it there of Gio Sakia, as he's just got so much action behind Christopher Long and Ralph Schuster that he's got to watch out for. Up in front, though, Daniel Kent is absolutely thriving. And remember, there is a mandatory pit stop that the drivers have to do here. So that can also play to a little bit of an advantage or disadvantage to some drivers, depending on how they take it. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Daniel Kent up in front with Michael de Kock just a bit further behind him, also trying to trail on in this race. Kyle Williams has slightly lost out, and you can see the break between the top three. First and second have started to break off, with Kyle Williams leading the charge for the third place train, and it is a massive train all the way, with Jared Leesk and a bunch of other cars behind that are trailing in his wake. And so Jared Lee's just trying to keep nice and consistent here in fourth position and make his way further up. Gio Sakia has unfortunately lost out 2 positions here to Jared Leesk and Christopher Long, both of them like we already saw. Ralph Schuster not so fortunate though, as he still sits down in 7th position, trying to navigate his way around. We'll have to see how that goes for him. Aratile Motsogotsele also just trying to make his way through. We know that Aratile has been known to be quite a bit of an undercut strategy guy, and so I'm looking to see when Aratile jumps into that pit lane and possibly get some new tires on that Toyota Corolla, or if he might just follow suit of what the rest of the drivers do this time around, instead of trying to dive in and change up the situation. We'll have to see how it goes for him, as he still trails currently behind Gio Sakia, and move up further from 8th up into 7th position. We'll have to see how it goes. Vaniobat also further behind, trying to tail now on the backside of Vilji Truscott and gain himself a position into Kop's corner. They will go. It's going to be whoever gets the better braking. Vanna going slightly wide and actually getting a bit of an off track there. And normal circumstances, there would be a penalty, but we don't have the real penalty in the real penalty system in just yet. I believe we are getting it in for next week. A lot has to be configured and customized, though, for the racing to be 100% unbothered with some form of real penalty system. And that will enforce a couple of time-based penalties and grid slot penalties coming into next round for the 2 heats to follow after heat number 1. Again, only next round, not this round. So this round, there is no live stewarding or penalties that are going to be handed out. Michael Lecoq, though, is trying his best to keep up with first place, but unfortunately, as you can see, according to the track map, it's not working out too well in his favor. It is a long stride that he's got to chase and make his way up, as we now see Christopher Long on the inside of Jared Leesk, and he's trying to make this position work, but it's going to be a difficult one nonetheless. But it looks like he's got it, as Jared Leesk goes slightly wide now and unfortunately loses that battle, and Ralph Schuster will now be on the backside of Jared Leesk, and these two sitting right next to each other in the sims, and also right next to each other in the point standings, both tied on 64 points, as Ralph Schuster takes a terrible line through the previous corner, unfortunately, and he goes off track. So a little bit of grass under the belt there, that's going to slow his roll coming down towards the exit of the straight that he's got to watch out for. The rest of the drivers, though, Session and Tevin, we've seen them, and they're also down there on the floor next to each other. And so Session on the left-hand side, Tevin on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, Tevin not having as fast of lap times that he's experiencing compared to Session up in front in his Hyundai 30N. But here comes the first of the pit stops, as Session, well, not the first, because Ralph Schuster and Carl Williams are already in, but Session Governor follows with them into the pit stop. And as you can see there, the average pit time is about 35 seconds here at Silverstone National. A bit of a shorter pit stop stint, as the pit lane is not that long. It is just one small corner, and then the drivers get to go back out. But up in front, the drivers have not decided to come in. Daniel Kent and Michael de Kock, they're all still staying out and trying to optimize those lap times. Van Jobert still trying to push up on the inside line of what looks to be Derek Truscott or Vilgie Truscott, I believe that is. Indeed, it is Vilgie Truscott just behind him who's lost out from Van Jobert. And we'll see the rest of them also coming into session, still sitting in that pit lane. There he comes out now, 4 positions down in 18th place in this race, unfortunately. And a long drop-off for himself. Michael de Kock, though, still sitting in second. Now Daniel Kent jumps into the pit lane, and so he's going to get some new fresh tires on and a bit of a refuel before the end of this race. A lot of our drivers coming into the pit lane, actually. Derek Truscott, Jared Lees, Christopher Long, Daniel Kent, they've all decided to come in, and a couple of others as well. Derek Truscott joins in now, and so Michael de Kock has officially taken the lead of this race with half the time left to go. 10 minutes on the clock here for Michael de Kock, and I believe Gio Sakia has also not taken a pit stop just as of yet, so he moves up to second place, with Van Jobert also now moving up into third. Aratile Motsogotsele put it 2 laps earlier than most people, and so still going for a bit of the undercut strategy, hoping to see if it can work out for him or not, as he holds out on that 13th position. Let's see if it's going to pay out in his favor. Our TikTok live is also still pumping, loads of viewers joining in and sending a bit of a handshake and saying, how's it? Welcome in, everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying your time and all the racing here at the TGN Racing Simulators Pro Series, which so far is going absolutely excellent for the first heat. Just here, now coming into the pit lane, and he'll lose out a couple of positions. Van Jobert, he decides to stay out, and so he's still going to be trying to go for a bit of an overcut. JP Goslet comes in now, same with Dean Jacobs. Ryan Grigoratos also jumps into the pit lane now, with a couple of others still trying to navigate around. Kyle Williams, all the way down to 9th right now, with all the pit stops that are still yet to come. And eventually he'll move back up into that 3rd position slot, especially once Michael de Kock comes into the pit lane. Same with Van Jobert and Sean Norse. Sean Norse also, no pit stop being done from him just as of yet. And so he'll still have to come in and serve it, which will unfortunately drop him down quite a bit of a margin from the rest of the grid. Van Jobert 12 seconds ahead of Sean Norse, and then Sean Norse 9 seconds ahead of Daniel Kent. And Daniel Kent, if you do remember, was our race leader at the time being, but after the pit stops, he has shifted slightly down with a couple of drivers up in front, still yet to pull the car into the pits. So he'll have to play a bit of a patient game here before he's allowed to go back up towards the top spots. And so we'll have to wait and see. Michael de Kock now into the pit lane. Does Van Jobert follow? He does not. So Van Jobert going for an even further extension on his current stint. And he's going to be trying the absolute overcuts of the century here at Silverstone National, and seeing if it can work for him. Otherwise, he will be left to his own devices here, and we'll have to see how that goes for him for the remainder of this race. But up in front, it is still Van Jobert. Daniel Kent now moves up into second again, with the pit stops coming into effect. Kyle Williams into third. And so Kyle Williams has actually overshot Michael de Kock in the pit lane, it seems, as here comes Michael de Kock, and he's fighting with Christopher Long currently for 5th position. And so he has not had the best of pit stops whatsoever, because he's lost out on that top spot. We're now fighting in the outer top 5 with the likes of Christopher Long and Kitsu Magia just up in front. So unfortunately, having a bit of a run for his money here, Michael de Kock. And he's really going to have to watch out, as here comes a bit of a dive from Christopher Long. Not going to work this time around. And so Michael de Kock still staying out there with 7 minutes left to go. The drivers, it's all or nothing for them right now. Giosakia down in 11th position, still trying to hold on as strong as he can. There we see him down in 11th, Vilgie Truscott and Dean Jacobs also a bit further down, trying to hold on to the hopes of this race. And unfortunately, JP Goslet, having that massive incident at the start, has pulled him all the way down to 15th. He did start 10th position, and I think he really would have had a much better race here if he didn't lose out on lap number 1. It does get quite heated here, especially through Cop's Corner of lap number 1 at Silverstone National. And now we see JP Goslet going up the inside line of, I believe that was Dean Jacobs. Indeed it was. So JP Goslet claiming another name. And so Dean Jacobs started at the back after qualifying, and unfortunately looks like he's going back towards the back after. Oh, and Dean Jacobs getting very, very close, and there's contact. I thought it was coming between Dean Jacobs and JP Goslet up ahead, and unfortunately Dean Jacobs just making a bit too much contact, and that has indeed pushed JP Goslet off the track slightly. Fortunately, he was able to catch the car, and he remains ahead of the other driver. Van Jobert up in front is still yet to pit. He has not come in to serve that pit stop with 5 minutes left to go. And so that pit stop is going to be absolutely crucial for where he comes out because it's only a 9-second gap to Daniel Kent. Unfortunately, he's going to lose quite a couple of positions here in the pit stop. You can see he's up in front. In second is Daniel Kent, just 8 seconds behind, and you can see it on the track map how close he is getting as well. So still quite a bit to play for here between all of our drivers as they continue to go around. Christopher Long also still trying to keep himself in the rear view mirror of Kitso Magia. And Kitso will have to start watching out. There you can see it on the rear view of Kitso Magia's car that Christopher Long is slowly but surely starting to gather in on the backside. And there you can see the throttle and brake inputs as well, watching the mapping as they have to manage that throttle and brake, especially through the slightly slower corners. You can see Kitso Magia just feathering it and hoping to not have a couple of incidents here or there. Let's hope that does not happen, as you still see them up in front. Vanio Bart holding off as much as he can here for this race. And don't know when he's going to come into pit. I don't know when those tires are going to give up or when his fuel is going to run out. But he definitely still needs to come in with 4 minutes left to go. And the main question that most are asking is, where is he going to pop out? The question is quite a big one, because he's unfortunately going to go down in through the mid-packs here once he serves that pit stop. It's an average of 36 or so seconds lost, so he's going to definitely lose out on the top 5 here and potentially be in contention with Michael de Kock and Oratile Motsogotsele. So we'll have to see how that goes for Vanio Bat. I don't know if he's going to come in now, and yes, he is. So Vanio Bat comes into service pit stop now. Daniel Kent is going to catch him quite quickly as now Vanio Bat enters into the pit stop, and there you see Daniel Kent catching quite rapidly. But as it should be, Daniel Kent was your race leader before the pit stops came into the question. And regardless, Vanio Bat in any way wouldn't have won the championship, even if he tried to, because he is a staff member at TGN. So he's actually just racing for the entertainment out on track. Still good, solid racing, and he gets to contest a couple of the really quick drivers. But at the end of the day, it will always go to the actual clients and customers that come and race with us at Alba Pro Series. So Daniel Kent back up into first position, and Carl Williams into second position. Still tracing on behind in second, and Kitso Magia in third position now. And so Michael de Kock really has gotten a bad launch here, because he's lost out again to Christopher Long. So the two of them have been fighting pretty much the entire time here for the past 2 or 3 minutes. And now again, he gets back ahead of Christopher Long, but it is back and forth between these two. The Cape Townians are fighting for that 4th position. And it's also extended to 3rd, because Kitso Magia is leading them, and he's not far ahead whatsoever. And as I mentioned in those car cameras, it was Christopher Long behind Kitso Magia, but now Michael de Kock has rejoined the equation. And you can see how close he's getting on the backside of Kitso Magia. He's actually going to go side by side, heading into Klopp's corner. This could get a little bit sticky if the drivers don't take this correctly. Into Klopp's corner they go. The Vauxhall leads, but unfortunately the Ford Fiesta on the inside line trying to get through. Is it going to be enough, or is Christopher Long going to turn it into a 3-way battle? Not enough for Christopher Long to do what he needs to do. And so they continue moving around. And a little bit of a bash there for Kitso Magia on the inside axle there. Fortunately, no damage here for these drivers, so they can continue their race as of normal. But after the pit stops, unfortunately, Vanio Bat moves down to 13th position. And so that pit stop average time of 34 seconds, I think, was a bit of a lie, because it seems like it was definitely longer for Vanio Bat, as he falls all the way down to 13th position. Heading into the final minute now, he is fighting alongside Vilji Truscott for 12th position, and obviously similar position that he was in before the pit stops. And before the rest of the drivers pit stopped, is that he was in the same battle with Vilji Truscott as they head through the right-hander. Now back onto the back straight towards Kopp's corner, and it is still Vilji Truscott who leads that small battle. Up in front, though, Daniel Kent is creating even more of a gap and a stride to Carl Williams, who's trying his very best. Michael de Kock moves up into 3rd position, like we mentioned, and Kitso Magia has unfortunately been booted out completely here between the top 3. Apologies about missing that one. And we'll have to see how that goes. Someone in our virtual grandstand, unfortunately, not too sure what those words mean. I see it's English, but not too sure what the combination of the words mean. So unfortunately, I'm not going to read those ones out loud, as you still keep on going. Our TikTok live also still looking great. Thank you guys so much for the over 800 likes on the live. And you're welcome to continue watching. We've still got another 2 heats here for the remainder of this race, and so stick around, as it is definitely going to be a good one, with most of our viewers still staying in and watching over, as we have still got a lot of racing left to go with this race. And we see a couple of more people in our TikTok. Apologies there. was looking at a bit of a settings menu, and when I look at settings, my brain switches from technical to commentating, and it tries to do both, unfortunately, and it can't. So 33 seconds left to go. Daniel Kent has got quite a stride, and the sad part is that Kyle Williams is catching him. Kyle Williams is breaking down that gap into the last few seconds. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough, as Daniel Kent is going to come around. This is not going to be the final lap. It's 15 seconds left to go. The checkered flag is just around the corner, and I think with this current standing, it is going to be one more lap left to go. 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3. This is going to be very close. 2, 1, and it's actually going to be checkered flag. I think no, it's not. He just gets over the line with 1 second of a difference. So Kyle Williams has got 1 lap to chase down. Time Bandit saying Johannesburg over Cape Town. I'm not gonna start the Johannesburg versus Cape Town rivalries in the virtual grandstand. I know it's already a massive rivalry between our drivers, and so we'll keep it between them. We will not incorporate it here into our slander up here. We love to just see the good old racing action, but my word, this is getting close. Kyle Williams is now just on the backside of Daniel Kent, heading into the overtime slot. There is not much left of the circuit, though, and it is just 2 corners rounding off to the final checkered flag line, and it's all to Daniel Kent now. Can he keep off the likes of Kyle Williams coming into these next couple of corners, or will he fall under the pressure on the final corner? It looks like he is 100% contained, and Kyle Williams is going to come across that line for the last time of heat number 1, and he is going to crown himself as the winner. Daniel Kent, checkered flag shown, and the win taken. Kyle Williams takes second with Christopher Long in third. Kitso Magia, Michael de Kock just taking fourth with Ralf Schuster in fifth. Jessica taking sixth. Aretile Motsogotsele seventh. Jared Leask in eighth. Kitso Magia taking ninth with Derek Truscott down in 10th. Session Governor and Vanna Jobert down in 12th. Vilgie Truscott in 13th and JB Goslet 14th position. Dean Jacobs will take 15th position coming across the checkered flag line. Sean Norse in 16th position as he continues to go around here. 17th, it's going to be for Tevin Paul coming through the next couple of corners. And then 18th, unfortunately, for Ryan Grigoratos. And that is officially your racing action done and dusted for heat number 1. Don't go anywhere, though. Across all of our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, we've still got a whole nother race to come. And that is going to be our second heat of round number 3. So stick around, and we'll be back shortly.
I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
And we are back with the racing here for heat number 2. And this is where things get interesting because we've got our reverse grid active and ready. If you're in that TikTok live stream, don't forget to drop a like. We're at 850 likes. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 before the end of tonight's stream. That would be absolutely great. But the racing goes live in about 40 seconds time. So if you did dip off, make sure you're joining back in. Maybe you're getting, make sure you're getting those friends and family back in to come and watch heat number 2. It is this time going to be Ryan Grigoriatos up in front with the reverse grid up in order. And then Tevin Paul and Sean Norse in second and third position. So nice to see the switch around there between all our drivers. But the race gets going in about 15 seconds time. Now gantry lights are officially ready to go. The action comes to you live once again on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. The gantry lights are ticking down. It is almost lights out. And it is officially lights out. And away we will go. Ryan Grigoriatos up in front with Tevin Paul taking that inside line. They all come running down Cop's Corner with the rest of them all following in suit. And it seems like we've had quite a clean start to our race. And so Ryan Grigoriatos with Tevin Paul just a bit further behind him, trying to make his way through in these next corners. Sean Norse just behind in second, and Tevin Paul. Dean, oh, a little bit of action. There's lots of bumping, and it looks like Tevin Paul's had it all in the grass, followed by Vilji Truscott. No, I believe that's Derek Truscott. Indeed, it is. Derek Truscott in the blue. Unfortunately, getting knocked off of track as well. So a bit of action there. But unfortunately, this time, no outliers. JP Gosling was our only outlier in race number 1. And we did see him, unfortunately, dropping off quite a bit. But he's in the action this time around, which is absolutely lovely to see. And let's hope all of our drivers can stay within the action for the remainder of this race. They all loop back around. And it is going to be Session Governor fighting alongside Kyle Williams now as they come through the next corner, hoping he can keep it. But oh, it's almost 3 wide coming down into Cop's Corner. They've got to watch out for that one. Daniel Kent is all the way at the back from finishing first in race number 1. And you can see how much that matters to him, because look how all over he is at the backside of this grid, trying to make way on Carl Williams and Session Governor. And unfortunately, just not able to get past. There's more brake locking heading into that right hand of Maggot and Beckett. And lots and lots of action between most of our drivers. But look at the beautiful train we've got on our track map. Every single driver still within a great amount of attacking distance here. And this is what we absolutely love to see with all the racing action here at TGN Racing Simulators. Round number 3 at the Pro Series. And once again, sponsored and powered by Master Drive and the TGN Racing Simulators crew. Great to see them all getting nice and involved. As one of the Cupras there, Derek Truscott, going a little bit wide over the curbs. And Christopher Long, Vanny Obert fighting very hard between each other, trying to make their way up the grid in the next couple of corners. Dean Jacobs has been able to keep himself nicely up there in 4th position. Now up into 3rd, actually, as he fights with Derek Truscott. And now back down to 4th. Sean Norse is trying to keep in the train of Vilji Truscott and stay just behind. Unfortunately, Ryan Grigoriatos has not had the start he wanted. And he sits down there with Jared Leask, giving a bunch of bumps to somebody. I don't know who that is. And around they go. Jared Leask is off the track. No, it's not Jared Leask. It's someone else. And I'm trying to find out who indeed it is. It was Jared Leask. And Jared Leask down to 18th position. A massive spin-off coming through the right hand after Maggots and Beckett's. And unfortunately, he's not going to be happy about that one. I'm surprised that Nia any shouting down on the floor. As Jared Leask all the way down in 18th position. Vanya Battles was also involved in that. Down to 19th he goes, unfortunately. Aratile down to 15th position currently, as he tries to hold on with all the might and power that he's got. Ralf Schuster up 14 positions in this race, from 20th all the way up to 6th position. So great amount of climb here being shown from Ralf Schuster. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be started 20th because there are only 18 drivers in this race. So it's about 10 to 12 positions gained. That's still a huge amount, though, for Ralf Schuster as he tries to navigate the rest of the track. Sean Norse still holding off in 3rd position. And 5 minutes has already almost gone by in this race. Sean Norse down to 3rd with Vilji Truscott and Derek Truscott, the 2 brothers leading the race currently. It's blue versus green. Same car choice between the Truscott brothers. And Sean Norse just behind in the same car as well. So it's a triple Cupra, 3 up at the top. Derek Truscott, Vilji Truscott, and Sean Norse All three of them in the Cupra Leons trying to keep their way and their stride. Just behind is another Cupra and Dean Jacobs, another Cupra. So the top 5, now the top 6 actually, and now the top 7, all Cupra Leons. So all 7 up in front in the Cupras. And then JP Goslet, I believe, also. So top 8, Kitsumajia ends that in the Vauxhall. And I believe he's the only driver on our grid here in the Vauxhall, and the rest of them are all in the Cupras, Hyundais, and the Toyota Corollas. And I believe there might be a Honda. I'm not 100% sure if there is, as we see Kitsumajia trying everything that he can to keep consistent and fighting with JP Goslet in the next couple of corners. In the background there, Ryan Grigoratos has dropped down majorly, unfortunately, from the start. It says he started 5th. He definitely did not. He started in 1st position, and obviously himself and Tevin up in front. Tevin has also dropped down a bit, but not as much as Ryan. And so he's still trying to fight with Daniel Kent, who's working his way up from the backside of this grid, from 18th all the way up into 11th. So 7 places gained so far for Daniel Kent in this 15-minute header. That's what's left. The pit stop strategies will be coming in the next 5 or so minutes, that the drivers will have to come in and get those pit stops done and dusted. Just up in front, though, Tevin Paul is unfortunately being overtaken now by the likes of Daniel Kent. Kitsumajia will be next in his Vauxhall as he tries to make way. Unfortunately, he's lost out to the likes of JP Goslet. Now he's fighting with JP Goslet, actually. And they go too wide almost through into the back straight here of Silverstone National. Dean Jacobs still holding off on 7th position with Ralph Schuster just up in front of him. And Ralph now all over the backside of Gio Sakia. There's a bit of a lockup up in front, and someone's gone off on the right. I believe that's Sean Norse. Indeed it is. Sean Norse has completely lost his drive there as he overshoots it. And so now Ralph Schuster looking on the backside of Gio Sakia, who is just waiting for the attack to come from Ralph Schuster. You can see how close that Cupra is getting of Ralph Schuster's. And here comes the attack on the inside line now of Cop's Corner. They need to watch out not to get too aggressive here. Very, very close racing between Sakia and Schuster. And 2 of these drivers very, very experienced in wheel-to-wheel racing. And it seems like they've made it work. And it looks like Gio Sakia has been able to keep it. Where does Ralph Schuster sit, though? There's Ralph Schuster still just behind him, trying to keep that consistency up. But it looks like Gio is playing all the defensive cards he's got up his sleeve and not letting Ralph Schuster come past whatsoever. JP Goslet also joining into a bit of a train here now as he heads just behind the likes of Dean Jacobs. And he's got Daniel Kent right on the backside. Sean Norse obviously losing out a lot of positions after dropping off at the beginning of this race. No, not the beginning of this race, about 2 laps ago at this exact specific corner, just missing his braking point. And that was enough to drive him completely off of the top 4 and down to 6th position, unfortunately, in the only pink Cupra out on track currently. A bit further behind, Session trying to chase onto the backside of Kyle Williams. Session currently sitting 10th position in the championship standing, as I believe Kyle Williams sitting in 8th or 7th. And so they both have quite a bit to play for here. They're trying to keep up with those championship standings and not lose out just a bit too much between the rest of the drivers, but they keep on pushing. And now it looks like Session just in the background trying to keep up with Ryan Grigoratos, who seems to be coming a bit more alive here again in this race. He now gets up into the top 10 ahead of Session Governor and trying to get the overtake done and dusted on Kyle Williams up in front. It is going to be Toyota Corolla versus that Cupra Leon. And no, actually Cupra Leon up in front as well for Kyle Williams. So lots of great action between the Cupras here. Like we've already discussed, the top 5 are all locked in on those Cupras as they head through the next couple of corners. It is still up in front, but Derek Truscott 1.5 seconds, and that train really has not broken off that much. Unfortunately, we've got quite a bit of a divide here between the front runners and the back runners. Down to 15th, it is Daniel Kent again, but I believe it's because he's come in to serve his pit stop. And so Daniel Kent, Michael de Kock, Vanna Joubert, Tevin Paul, all of them down at the backside. And JP Goslet will be joining them soon. He's currently in the pit lane, and there he just comes off the jacks, and he's going to be heading out the pit lane now. And where does he come out in conjunction to Daniel Kent? Here comes Daniel Kent. Here comes JP Goslet, and unfortunately loses out to Daniel Kent. He's going to probably lose out to Michael de Kock as well. There he comes out of the pit lane, and he's probably going to lose out to Vanna Joubert as well as they round the final corner. JP Goslet just comes out of the pit lane. So behind all 3 of them, unfortunately. Derek Truscott still leading this race up in front, 1.5 seconds to Christopher Long, but Christopher is catching lap by lap. Not a lot, but he is still definitely catching. And so the pit stops are going to be the important part. Kyle Williams, Grant Grigoriatos, they both jump into the pit lane now. And hoping that they can keep up with the standing strides of this race. Volji Truscott still in 4th position, holding on as much as he can. He's unfortunately dropped out from 2nd position that he had with his brother up in front, and Christopher Long, Ralph Schuster, and Gio Sakia have all managed to get past. Gio Sakia yet to confirm it, but it looks like he is about to confirm it as they go side by side now. And a bit of a bump there, actually, from Gio Sakia. He just fades onto the line there of Volji Truscott, so he's got to watch out for that one, not to get too close with the racing action. As Volji Truscott now holding on to that line. He's now been shoved onto the outside line by the white car of Gio Sakia, and unfortunately it looks like he's going to have to settle here for this position. This is what it looks like, but now he goes side by side again as Gio Sakia pulls into the pit lane for his pit stop, and Michael de Kock will be trying to climb the ranks here with all the drivers jumping into the pit lane. You can see him just a bit further behind, holding on strong, 13th, with Kyle Williams just behind him in 14th position. Vanio Bat, 15th. He's still trying to do his best down in 15th position. Ralph Schuster up in front in 1st, also holding on as much as he can. Volji Truscott, 2nd position, and unfortunately he's lost out to Ralph Schuster. And all of them still yet to pit, but Ralph Schuster has got a great chance here of getting a good result in this race. And remember that he is currently tied with Jared Leask. So if Jared Leask remains down in 5th position and Ralph Schuster can hold on to 1st, well, this is going to be a great stride for Ralph Schuster to get some good points for himself up on the board. But only time is going to tell between these drivers to see where they all end up. 9 minutes to go. There we see someone else jumping into the pit lane. I believe it's Volji Truscott. Indeed it is. And a couple more will follow him into the pit lane. And there we see the 3rd place of Dean Jacobs also coming in. So a couple of others will eventually start to come in, and I believe the leading driver of our early pit stoppers is going to be Mr. Daniel Kent down in 9th position. So he came to the pit really early with the Koch and Williams, as well as Vanio Bat down in 14th position. And there we see Daniel Kent going slightly wide over the curbs on the left-hand side, and we'll have to see how this plays out for the rest of our drivers. Will anybody else jump into the pit lane for this time? I hear somebody shouting out on track. Who has made a mistake? Looks like 7th position, possibly Volji Truscott. Somewhere else possibly someone has made a mistake, and I'm not too sure who has made a mistake, as we see Dean Jacobs coming out of the pit lane now, and Jared Leask up in 3rd position. He's still chasing down on 2nd position of Sean Norse with 8 minutes to go in this race. Unfortunately, the pack is pretty segregated as it stands, as Jared Leask up in front. There we see Ralph Schuster now coming into the pit lane for his mandatory pit stop. Where is Daniel Kent? There he is, the leading driver of our early pit stoppers. Now the question is, where does he come out in conjunction to Ralph Schuster? He comes across the final corner now. Ralph Schuster still up on the jack, so this is not looking good for Ralph Schuster. There he's out now, heading towards that exit line, and there he just comes out of the pit lane. And looks like he is going to end up just in front of Daniel Kent. So Ralph Schuster has managed the overcut, and pits later. And he is going to come out ahead. He stays just ahead of Derek Truscott, it looks like. Actually, just alongside Derek Truscott now, which he'll try and claim in the next couple of corners. Christopher Long just on the outside now of Ralph Schuster. And he's got to watch out because I think Christopher Long also pitted early. Daniel Kent just on the backside of Ralph Schuster. So they're all joining in to fight for the lead of this race here. Christopher Long now just up ahead. And Derek Truscott, I believe, as well, was the leader of this race and then came into the pit lane. There we see Sean Norsk, and Jared Leask will also probably follow into the pit lane, unless Jared Leask came in for an early pit stop as well. And he is enjoying his time out in front, which will remain there. I'm not 100% sure, but 6 minutes left to go. Have we reached that extra 250 likes on TikTok? Indeed, we have 1,100 likes. Thank you so much to all those watching on TikTok. It is absolutely great to have you all here. 1,100 likes. That is an absolutely great figure to have on one of our entry streams on the TikTok platform. As I'm still hearing someone not having the best of times out on track here tonight. Someone is not too happy, it might seem right now. So I'm not too sure who that is. And we'll have to wait and see who it is going to be. But We'll have to wait and see. I think the speakers on TikTok might be too loud for the microphone, and someone can let me know if the microphone is louder than the headsets. I'm hoping that they're not, so I'm going to reduce the volume slightly on the headsets just so that the microphone can be heard on TikTok better. Hopefully this is a lot better. It looked like the vehicle volume was a lot louder than the actual microphone volume, which would suck for commentary purposes. We see Jared Lees coming into the pit lane now, and so Christopher Long is going to reclaim that first position spot. Derek Truscott takes second, and Ralph Schuster will sit in third position. The question is, can Ralph get past Derek Truscott, or is this going to be a difficult battle? Because Christopher Long is actually feeling a lot of pressure right now from Derek Truscott. So the top three are very near each other, as we do still see Ralph Schuster and Daniel Kent there. Daniel Kent is still 1.8 seconds away from the rest of the pack, and still chasing on strong as much as he possibly can. And we'll have to wait and see how this is going to work for all of our drivers coming into the next couple of corners. And Christopher Long still leading up in front with the rest. Pretty good fights going on in the mid-pack. Here we see Michael Lecoq. He's currently on the outside down of Aratile Matsogotsele, who's unfortunately had a bit of a drop-off here in the starting few rounds of the Pro Series. We usually see him up in front fighting it out with the top guns, and unfortunately this season he's had a bit more of a mid-pack run, and so I'm not too sure if he changed car choices or if he's just having a little bit less time on the rig to get himself practiced and zoned in. But currently sitting down in 8th position. Same with Gio Sakia, who currently sits 7th position, so let's hope that they can get a little bit up there in the next coming laps. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to work for all of them, as Gio Sakia making his way around. This is going to be a long stretch for Gio Sakia to try and catch up to Volji Truscott up in front, and we'll have to see how that goes. Christopher Long, though, in first position, still trying to keep his stride with 0.8 of a gap to Derek Truscott. Lots of time to play for, and we'll have to see how that goes. Kyle Williams, Volji Truscott, and Gio Sakia in 7th position, still fighting on strong. Aratile Matsogotsele down in 8th position. And we'll have to see how this goes. 1,300 likes on our TikTok live. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined in and dropped a like. And if you're enjoying it, make sure you stay and watch the action. Heat 2 is coming towards an end, and these final 3 minutes are going to be crucial for who takes the win here. So if you are here, you may as well stick around for the remainder of it. Thank you to the 3 new followers as well. Great to have you on board here at TGN Racing Simulators for the remainder of this race. But up in front, it is still Christopher Long, and in the mid-pack fighting, JP Goslet has had a much better run for his money in race number 2, down in 11th position, but he's well within the packs here, with Jared Leesk in 10th position just up in front, Aratile Matsogotsele in 8th, and Gio Sakia in 7th position, trying to make his way around. I'm hearing another person shouting down on the floor, and I'm trying to see if we've got any action out on track, or if people are just in general having a bit of an upset one. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. And Kyle Williams still in 5th position. 2 minutes and 44 seconds left, though. This is where it starts to get very interesting between all of our drivers, as they all try and round through the next couple of corners. Aratile and JP Goslet down in 11th position, still trying to round his way up towards the checkered flag line. We're going to have to see how this works out. And first position, still Christopher Long, with the rest still following in order of those events. We'll have to see if an overtime lap is going to be instituted here. It's going to depend on where we see Christopher Long coming across that checkered flag line in accordance to the race timer. And that's going to be a crucial one, because it means an extra lap that someone could possibly have on a fight. We see the battle for 15th is definitely scaling. Ryan Gigaratos and Tevin Paul, Session Governor, all of them, actually all 3 in a row next to each other on the floor. On the right-hand side, you can see Ryan's red gloves on the far right. Then he's got Tevin next to him and Session right in the center of the camera right now. So those 3 all busy challenging each other, coming down to the line. And so great to see all the viewers watching us here across all multiple platforms. Derek Truscott, though, is fighting on the backside of Ralph Schuster, and he is so close to getting 2nd position, but Ralph has been able to snatch 2nd here. And that's going to be great for his standings, because Jared Leesk is down in 10th position currently, which means that Ralph Schuster is going to get an absolute great plunge in points here, and he is going to move more upwards on that championship standings. Unfortunately, Jared Leesk will lose a couple of slots here on that board. As you do see a couple of drivers like Jeff Sakia or Atile also up in front of him. Daniel Kent will also move up slightly. And so great to see. Christopher Long, though, is just going to extend his current championship lead. Remember that he did get up on that championship standings, and he's further up there, as you can see on your screen right now if you're on YouTube or TikTok, that Christopher Long, Michael de Kock up in first and second. Michael de Kock is going to lose a lot of points here, unfortunately, and Jerzy Kia, Ralf Schuster are going to benefit a lot with second and sixth position for themselves respectively. So great to see all of our drivers still pushing on, but it is 40 seconds left, and first place of Mr. Christopher Long is very far off from the checkered flag line, which means that this is going to be your final lap. This is white flag territory now for Christopher Long, for Ralf Schuster, for Derek Truscott. What can the top three do to fight their ways with each other? And this is going to be a very monumental moment for Derek Truscott, who's been on the backside of Ralf Schuster for this entire night of heat number 2. And now coming into the final corner, it is 5 seconds left on the clock. It is not going to be enough time to reach the checkered flag, which means that it is officially it. Christopher Long comes towards the checkered flag line and takes another win to extend his championship standing lead. Currently, Christopher Long takes P1 with Ralf Schuster in second, Derek Truscott in third. Daniel Kent still snatching fourth with Carl Williams just ever so close to taking it away in fifth. Jeskia will take sixth with Volji Truscott in seventh. Eighth position is going to be Aratile Motsogotsele. Ninth is Michael de Kock with 10th, JP Gosda, 11th with Jared Lees, 12th for Vanna Yabat, 13th for Kitsimajia, 14th Sean Norse, 15th Session Governor, 16th Tevin Paul, 17th Ron Grigoratos, and unfortunately 18th place all the way down at the bottom is going to be Mr. Dean Jacobs. But that is officially it for our racing action here for heat number 2, and there's going to be a bit more of a pause between heat number 2 and heat number 3, just because we have to reset the server. The drivers also get a bit of a break, just to have something to drink, and then they go again for the chaos race of tonight's racing. So stick around with us, and we will be back shortly for the next race of race number 3.
it because there are so many things that I left unsaid. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not real.
And we are officially back live on all 3 of our social media platforms. It is a Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok with our 30-second counter left to go before we head to the final chaos race of tonight's action. We've got Oliver Kent saying, watching my son Daniel in P4. Great to see some relationship support. I love seeing father-son, mother-son. I love seeing brother-sister. It's always great to see some family support in the virtual grandstand, and Daniel Kent gets it tonight. Sitting in 4th in the random order grid. It is officially, the gantries are up, and it's lights out, and away we will go. Oratile Motsogotsele has got his best chances yet tonight for a race win. He starts up in front, and we know what Oratile can do with some clean air. Very aggressive driver when it comes to that, and very good as well as they all head through Cop's Corner. Oratile up in front has had zero issue keeping the lead of this race. Jared Leesk is in second, though. He's got a lot of pressure from Kitso Magia just a bit further behind. The rest of the drivers all still squirming for position. As you see them all trying to work their way in through the next couple of corners. They all round up now. And fortunately, again, for the second time, we've had a full first lap with 0 incidents through the first couple of corners, which is absolutely great to see. Oratile still heading into the next right-hander, holding on for as long as he can go. The rest of the drivers all bunching up. A lot of smoke being shown, but usually that is just going to be your slight bit of brake locking, so not necessarily smoke from an incident, but there is a bit of a tap. Christopher Long gets an absolute lunge into the left-hand side, and unfortunately that is going to drop him off the running order. But it's not just him, it's Vilji Truscott, it's Tevin Paul. They've all had a bit of an off-track, and they all moved to the backside of the grid here, unfortunately, but Oratile is absolutely flying with this race. He's already created a gap between himself and Jared Leesk. He's got the best chances here of doing what he needs to do. Unfortunately, Daniel Kent, the driver who's had the support in this race, from 4th all the way down to 9th position here. And so, not the greatest to see, as he's now making a bit of contact there with Kyle Williams. But let's hope that he can climb back up the order here before the end of tonight's racing. The rest of the drivers all still moving through the chaos grid that we started off with. And up in front with Oratile, and then Jared Leesk is Jared Leesk still fighting hard with Sean Norse, who also got another great rotation. Sean Norse started up in the top 5 as well with the reverse grid, and it seems like he's been favored by the server randomizer, and he moves up, staying in 3rd position, but apparently started in 11th. I'm not too sure if that's accurate according to this. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but obviously we'll still see where he ends off. Currently side by side though, JP Goslet, Derek Truscott going on the outside line of Cops, and he gets in front of the car behind of JP Gosler just in time for Cops, and makes it through into 4th position. What a great lunge for Derek Truscott, and he continues pushing on for the rest of this race. All of our other drivers still trying to keep their consistency up and hope that we can continue our beautifully clean race with the remainder of this. 3 seconds of a gap though for Oratile Motsogosele, and this man is on an absolute mission to get some points on that championship board. We'll have to remind you again about our standings, and currently Oratile sits in 6th position before this round's effects. Obviously, we've already had 2 heats, and we head into the final heat here, but this is going to be some great points for Oratile if he can keep up his progression here for the remainder of tonight's racing. Let's hope that he can. Still going on strong, though, between the rest of our drivers. It is going to be a long night of battling for the rest of them, as just trying to figure something out. There we go. All good, and we can continue with the racing. Derek Truscott still holding on to 3rd, with Sean Norse now unfortunately losing out a bit between a couple of cars. JP Goslet's getting up there. Jared Leesk has moved back up into 3rd, and Kitso Magia will also try and get ahead of Sean Norse in the next couple of corners. It's too wide though between himself and JP Goslet as they head onto the main straight, hoping that they can keep nice and clean. The only driver down off the rest of this grid is currently Tevin Paul, who cannot catch up, but Christopher Long is already caught onto the backside of this 18-car grid, and he joins in at 17th, just behind Vilji Truscott. Back up into the main grid though, Gio Sakir and Ralph Schuster not getting a good rotation, unfortunately, with the server randomizer, and they start quite a bit far down on tonight's grid. It is 14th and 15th where they currently sit. Vanny Obat also now he comes to the pit lane for a very, very early pit stop, 5 minutes in. And very different to what we've seen Van Aert do for the most of tonight. In the first 2 heats, we saw him going for very early pit stops. Very late pit stops. Now we see him going for a very early pit stop. So, a bit of a change up for Van Aert. And let's see if it's going to play in his favor. Oratile, though, The driver who we always see undercutting is definitely not going to go for an undercut. Most of the time, an undercut strategy will be pulled for the sake of clean air and to get away from a big pack of cars, but I don't think that's the case tonight in heat number 3 for Aretile Motsagosele, because complete clean air in front and behind currently of 3.5 seconds to Derek Truscott, and he's just going to continue to pull away from the rest of these cars. 3,500 likes on our TikTok live. Incredible stuff to see. I know that one user can give as many likes as they want, but it is still great to see so many likes coming in from all of you. Thank you so much for giving your spams away to us. It's lovely to see. I know the YouTube chat is also still got some vibrancy and a couple of people watching over there. And unfortunately, I don't have the Facebook on moderation, but I trust that there's also a couple of people watching over on Facebook. As we continue still with the racing, Aretile Motsagosele is unfortunately losing a bit of his gap. Someone is screaming downstairs again, and I know the screaming from last time was Dean Jacobs, as I went and spoke to him. And it seems he's lost out to Christopher Long, our current championship leader. And so Dean Jacobs will have to resort for sitting behind. But now Ralph Schuster is also possibly going to be looking for a couple of moves coming to the next couple of corners. Where is Ralph Schuster? No, that's not Ralph Schuster. There's Ralph Schuster, up in 10th position currently. And so Ralph Schuster and Gio Sakia collectively moving as a group, the two of them, up this grid. When the rest of the drivers are making errors, they are staying 100% consistent and moving up. Aretile is up in front with zero chance of anyone catching at the time being. 3.5 seconds between himself and Derek Truscott. And Derek Truscott is not gaining. It is no gain or loss between them. And so it is just a constant bounce around of 3.5 seconds. And let's hope that Aretile can keep it going for the next 13 minutes. 7 minutes have gone by. And even though 7 minutes seems like a short time in a 20-minute race, that is absolutely nothing. And so a lot of time... not a lot of time, sorry, that the drivers have got yet to do what they need to do. JP Goslet is up into 5th position. Currently his best sitting order that he's had the whole night across our 3 heats. And let's hope that he can do something with it and stay nice and consistent for the remainder of this race. 13 minutes left to go. We'll end roughly at 5 minutes to 9 o'clock. And gives ample time for the drivers to still go home, have a bit of dinner, and have a bit of a relaxer. If you do remember from last year's events in the Pro Series, the actual racing only started at 8 o'clock at night, and we only finished here at around 10:30 at night time. And obviously that's a working time of the week. It's a Thursday, and so the next Friday morning a little bit difficult for some of our drivers. You know, getting home, some of them only 11 o'clock at night, and then still having to organize dinner or beforehand. You know, whether or not they got it. Jared Lee's into the pit lane. Apologies for being fixated on his camera there while I was talking. But yeah, so everything shifts up 1 hour earlier, which is absolutely lovely to see. Gives everyone a bit of a time to, you know, take a bit more of a breather and have a bit more time afterwards. Also to chat, you know, the drivers love chatting at the end to each other, especially those who have had an incident. Some can apologize, some can be feisty about it. You know, it's how racing goes. But up at the front, it is still JP Goslet. And I'd like to remind all those about the amazing partnership we have with Master Drive, giving away that advanced driving experience to our season winner here for the TGN Pro Series. I believe this will be the first season of 2026. I believe we will still have another season to run in 2026. It is only 8 rounds, and I believe this ends around about May or June, around about there, as we head into the 3rd round here at Silverstone. So I can actually double confirm a bit of a calendar running for all of you so that we have a bit of longevity, and we know where all of our drivers are heading for the remainder. So we're currently at Silverstone National for round number 3. We head to a very, very nice track for round number 4. That's coming on the 2nd of April of Brands Hatch Grand Prix. Brands Hatch is a very, very good circuit for the BTCCs, as they are pretty much built for it, and absolutely great track nonetheless. Round number 5 on the 16th of April, we head to Snetterton 300. Great stuff there. Round number 6, a bit more of a technical circuit. And the 30th of April, we head to Croft. Round number 7 on the 14th of May, we head to Sydney Motorsport Park. And then round number 8 on the 28th of May, we head to Alton Park. So another great track, Alton Park or Swartkops. It's still being decided between the two of them. Personally, I think Swartkops would be a good pick because it's a local hero, but Alton Park also a great track to drive the BTCC car. So that's what our current progression chart looks like in terms of where our drivers will be heading. Apologies for being fixated on our race leader there while we read those stats. Session Governor is currently under quite a bit of a battle here between JP Gosling, and side by side between the two of them. Great bit of action here, and looks like Session Governor, with a bit of the slipstream, is going to take that position up for the grabbings. And on the inside line, it is now going to be JP Gosling trying to take it back, and he's managed to swoop under at the last minute between the two of them. That is absolutely phenomenal to see, and I'm loving the racing action from JP Gosling and Session Governor as they currently sit. Aratile, though, at the 10-minute marker, comes into the pit lane. Joined behind him is Derek Truscott. Kitsumagia is staying out for the overcut. So Kitsumagia goes back to P number 1. Well, he hasn't been P number 1 this race, but he takes P number 1. JP Gosling also in. Geosakia will be taking second. So going for the overcut strategy. Ryan Grigorato is currently his best standing order in tonight's racing. Up into third position. Unfortunately, now fourth, as Ralph Schuster takes him by storm up on the inside line of Maggot and Beckett. And Ralph Schuster now moves up into third position. Great stuff from him. Tevin Paul also coming out to fifth. He did not pit. And here comes Aratile already out in sixth position. And such a huge gap behind him. All the drivers up in front will have to pit. So he has got quite a bit of an advantage up in front that he can play here. Depends on when the drivers up in front are going to come in, and if the overcut or undercut is going to be the way to go. 4,000 likes on our TikTok live. Thank you so much to all of those, and thank you so much to those who are remaining consistent inside of our stream. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and hoping to get those numbers up as we continue to stream this series. You can also suggest a couple of TikTok recommendations. We are slightly newer to streaming on TikTok, especially with configuring it through TikTok Live. We were not the lucky few who got the TikTok stream key, which then allows us to broadcast TikTok through OBS. Allows everyone to see all the overlays that the YouTube and Facebook guys are seeing. But unfortunately, TikTok is a little bit stingy with their broadcast studio, and we are forced to use TikTok Live, which does not let us use a couple of the cool OBS overlays that we've got built in. And so you'll have to just settle for what you've got there. But as I've mentioned before, if you are wanting the full watching experience, you're welcome to head over to YouTube or head over to Facebook for both of those full live experiences. Heading, though, through this race, 8 minutes to go. And Kitsumagia currently sits in fourth. Aratile reclaims third position here with the two up in front, still yet to pit. Ralph Schuster, will he be staying out? Indeed, he does. He does not come in. Will Tevin Paul be coming in? Indeed, he does. So Tevin Paul moves into the pit lane. Aratile will move back into second position here. And the question is, will Ralph Schuster be able to overcut a couple of drivers here? He's the only driver, I believe, who has not come into the pit lane as of yet, especially up in the top 3 or top 5. And as Aratile currently sits in second. So one more driver left to go before he reclaims. Daniel Kent is at a much better recovery. Obviously, we saw him starting off in P4. Had a bit of a drop-off after the first couple of laps, but now he's back up into fourth position. I'm not too sure if he's coming for his mandatory pit stop. If he has, though, this is a great feat for Daniel Kent to continue striving and pushing on for the remainder of this race. Jared Lees, Derek Truscott, Christopher Long, all still behind with Michael Lecoq and Gio Sakia, all still in a pretty good running order. Ryan Grigoratos down in 12th position. Dean Jacobs, Volji Truscott down in 14th position. Carl Williams in 15th. And there's a bit of a fight between Carl Williams and Sean Norse. You can see how close it's getting between them. He has the cam of Sean Norse just on the backside of Carl Williams, and it seems like Kyle much better exit on that curb compared to the likes of Sean Norse, and so Sean will have to try and chase back. We'll get that rear view camera there, you can see it, and unfortunately Sean Norse a little bit further behind now that he's got to try and wait for. On the backside of Daniel Kent, you can see how close Derek Truscott is getting, and now comes the overtake onto the inside line for Derek Truscott through Cops Corner, and this is going to be a good one. Holding on the outside, unfortunately Daniel Kent goes wide. And so technically in racing rules, he'd have to give that position over because he ran off the racing circuit. And looks like it's going to happen because Derek Truscott claims the inside line through the next corner. And so Derek Truscott now moving up into fourth position. Kitsumagia is trying to stay within the likes of Aratile Matsoa Gutselez slipstream. I was saying slipstream. And hopefully try and keep up with them to gain second position. Daniel Kent, Derek Truscott, these two are fighting like absolute bulls and trying to get themselves up at the fourth position, seeing who can do it. Do not look at that pit stop counter on the left-hand side of the scoreboard. Unfortunately, it is not accurate on the CMRT hub, as it shows that only one driver of Aratile has pitted, but most of our drivers here have already gotten their pit stops done and dusted. Unfortunately, Session and Tevin our two drivers all the way at the bottom side of tonight's grid. And the battle for 10th is also very, very much at large. It is Van der Schoeman, who just behind him is Gio Sakia and Ryan Grigoriatos. It's the battle of the two white, the two white Cupra Leons. As you see, the only two with the white decals all over them. And now it looks like Gio Sakia is going to take the inside line here. The X4 car taking on the X3. And a great move on the inside line for Gio Sakia to move up on the standings over here and hopefully further his extent. 5 minutes left to go for our final race of tonight. You do not want to miss this as it comes towards the checkered flag line. Ralf Schuster is yet to pit, and he is really playing it towards the last moment. He started practically dead last in tonight's race and all the way up into first position, but obviously no pit stop being done just as of yet, so don't count it too early, as Aratile Matsugosele got 4 seconds on the first couple of laps to the driver in second. So lots to go. Beamerstein sending a couple of smileys in the TikTok. Thank you so much. That's actually Mr. Omar Khan, the other staff member down in TGN Cape Town. So lots of the staff members have to sometimes sacrifice their actual race running to ensure that the rest of the customers and our racers are enjoying their experience here at the TGN centers for the Pro Series. And oftentimes they've got to drop off. I don't know why I keep on saying Van der Schoeman. It is really annoying me. And I'm pretty sure it's someone who we used to race with a lot in the virtual racing scene. And I keep on saying it, which it's really bad of me, and I apologize. It's Vanio Bart. And I've never had an issue with calling him Vanio Bart. And now all of a sudden, I keep on saying the wrong thing. So apologies to all of those, to that again. I don't know how many times I've said it now, to be perfectly honest. But Vanio Bart in 11th position. And Gio Sakia is sitting just behind him as they keep on going. For the next 3 minutes, only 3 minutes left to go. And as you can see, Ralf Schuster has indeed come into the pit lane. Here he exits now. But my word, is there a long train that he's got to get past before he is allowed to get back into the running order. And it looks like he's going to come out just behind JP Goslet, or practically alongside. And Jason Wright saying his new name from now. No, let's keep it at Van. Oh, did someone just have an incident there? Indeed it was. It's JP Goslet. He lost it coming into the right hand at Magaton Beckett, and he makes contact, I believe, with Ryan Grigoriatos on the rejoin. Unfortunately, a bit of a dangerous rejoin there. Ryan Grigoriatos pays the price with a bit of a back tap, and fortunately, they all stay front-facing towards the end of this track. But no, let's keep his name at Vanio Bat. Let's not change it to anything else than it is. Our staff member Vanio Bat. I apologize again about calling him the wrong name. And let's hope that doesn't happen again. I seriously don't know how many times I've said it tonight. I think it's something that comes out so common. Like, it's something that you're just saying, you don't even realize you've said it. So I really do hope I've only said it a couple of times, every single time I've addressed him. But yeah, so currently Vanio Bart is busy chasing onto the backside of Gio Sakia, but it is a far shot. Ryan Grigoriatos is just on the backside of him, trying to make up a couple of positions possibly. So we'll have to wait and see how that's going to work out for those two. But Aratile up in front again. 2.2 seconds now to Kitsumagia in second place. And he has really earned this one here today. He's had a great run for practically the entire race. Obviously moved down towards the mid-pack during his pit stop. But once the rest of the drivers came in to serve their pits, then he moved straight back up towards the top. Michael de Kock, though, massive fighting going on here with Christopher Long. It's the two Cape Townians trying to prove who's worth. It's 3 wide, actually, between them. And I believe that's with Gio Sakia, as they all go 3 wide through the final corner on the exit. And Gio Sakia gets the upper hand now. Up in front, alongside him, is going to be the likes of Christopher Long, and Ralf Schuster might even join in on this battle. Indeed, he does. And so going 3 wide now, it looks like Michael de Kock has joined in on this battle as well. So it's Christopher Long, Gio Sakia, Michael de Kock, and Ralf Schuster. It is a 4-way battle for 6th position currently. And actually, it's changed a lot, because what's happened, Christopher Long has completely pulled away here. It seems like something might have happened there to Gio Sakia. He's lost a lot of stride compared to the likes of Christopher Long. And now Michael de Kock and Ralf Schuster are right on the backside, coming into the next corner. And Ralf Schuster taking the outside line. Unfortunately, Michael de Kock completely overshooting and following the lines of Gio Sakia. And this has given such an upper hand to the likes of Ralf Schuster, now on the outside line, fighting every single move here. And looks like he's going to just fall into the grasp there of Gio Sakia. And now, again, Michael de Kock getting pushed towards the backside. Can Ryan Grigoriatos possibly catch up here with Vanner Jobert just a bit further behind him? Jared Leesk up in 5th with Christopher Long Still trying to hold on behind in 6th position. Gio Sakia, unfortunately, losing out a bit to Christopher Long there. But it looks like this is going to be the final lap. Oratile Mosogotsele up in front is coming down the back straight. He's going to come through. Actually, no, this might not be the last lap. It's all going to come down to how fast he can take these final couple of corners. And so he heads into the hairpin now. And we'll have to see how this is going to turn out for him. There's only 15 seconds left on the clock. This is going to be close again, like it was at race number 1. 10 seconds, and it's a run down to the line. It is. This is going to be extremely close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I think that might be it. Indeed, it is. It is time done before the checkered flag, and Oratile Motsogotsele takes the win with Hito Magia in 2nd. Derek Truscott takes 3rd. Jared Leesk will take 4th position with Daniel Kent in 5th. Christopher Long just snatching 6th. Gio Sakia will take 7th. With Rolf Schuster actually taking 7th on the line. Gio Sakia takes 8th. Michael de Kock down in 9th with Ryan Grigeratos in 10th. Vanny Obad taking 11th. JP Goslet 12th. Dean Jacobs 13th. Carl Williams down in 14th. And Vilji Truscott in 15th. Tevin Paul, Sean Norris, Session Governor, your final car to round off today's grid. And, oh, thank you so much, Mazulu. And I don't know if that was sent. I'm not entirely sure how live chat works, but I saw TikTok Universe. I'm not too sure if that. I'm not too sure if that's a gifting. I did see one gift has had been given, and appreciate those gifting. Skara is in chat as well. Great to see you, Skara. If that is the Skara that I know, great to see you there in the chat, sending a heart. But that is officially it for the racing action here tonight at TGN Racing Simulators. What a great run it's been. Apologies, I've pressed the wrong button again. Looking for my window. Is that it? There we go. We've successfully found it. But that is officially it for the running here tonight. And my word, the racing action has really gotten good between our drivers. The drivers' briefing seems to have changed things up a bit, and our drivers are really putting in the effort to make it across the line with as minimal incidents as possible. But that's officially it. Thank you so much for joining us for round number 3. We head to Brands Hatch GP for round number 4 of the racing action here at TGN. In 2 weeks' time, the AMS will take to Brands Hatch in 1 week's time, which will also be live with no commentary. So make sure you jump into that if you are wanting to have a bit of a watch party on that one. And like always, make sure to leave a like on all the respective platforms that you're watching on, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook. It's been so good having you. My name has been Tristan Herbst, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time for round number 4. Have an awesome night, and we'll see you then.